Hey everybody, this is actually going to be a top 10 Ring of Honor champion video. The top 10 Ring of Honor world champions in the history of the company. This is actually going to be just the champions, not the official title reigns. So let's get right down to it. I actually got a request to do this from someone very, very popular here on YouTube. Very, very well known. He asked me to do this video, and I have no problem doing it. And I'll let you guys figure out exactly who that is. For some of you, it's probably not a secret, but yeah, he wanted to know. He was very, very interested in the top 10 Ring of Honor World Champions in the history of the company. So yeah, let's get right down to it. Basically, this list is comprised of the 10 champions that did the most for the company, that put the belt on the map, did the most for the actual world title belt, raised the credibility of the belt, and at the same time did a lot for the company as well, and put it and made a name for the company and the belt at the same time. So. And match quality has a lot to do with it, charisma, mic skills, the whole package here. So we're talking about the whole package, the top 10 Ring of Honor World Champions of all time. So let's get right down to it. Number 10, I'm going to go with James Gibson. For some of you that don't know, James Gibson is actually the same guy as Jamie Noble. Jamie Noble had a great gimmick in the WWE. Eventually he was fired around 2004. And then Ring of Honor gave him a break. And when he came into Ring of Honor, he was just awesome. He fit in beautifully. Jamie Noble and Ring of Honor just fit like a glove. It really did. He just put on match after match after match, incredible match after match. I mean, it was just a sight to see. Every single show, I mean, this guy would pretty much almost steal the show every single time. And before he signed back to the WWE, it was decided that they would give him the Ring of Honor World title. He pretty much ended CM Punk's world title reign during the Summer of Punk in a four-way match. And Gibson got a lot of respect, even though he was going back to the WWE as the champion. The fans didn't turn on him. They just he really connected with the fans a lot. I think a lot of it had to do with because he had a family. He didn't have a lot of food on the table, and he had to go back to the independents to try to make a name for himself again. So I think a lot of fans really identified with him. So yeah, and I think his title reign deserves some importance because he was the guy that officially dropped it to Bryan Danielson. So I think that says a lot right there. So yeah, James Gibson, his title reign was short though. It was only about maybe a month and some change. So that's pretty much it. He actually won it in August of 2005 and lost it in September of 2005 to Bryan Danielson at Glory of Honor 4. So that's James Gibson at number 10. Number 9, I'm going to go with Xavier. Xavier is the second Ring of Honor champion of all time. He was the first champion to have a mega, long world title reign. A lot of people did not like him. A lot of people shitted all over him. He wasn't a great wrestler. He was very, very sloppy. I didn't like his matches very much. But, he did put on some good matches. He became a very dislikable champion. But it was good, though, because a lot of people wanted to see him lose the belt. His matches got a lot of heat. Kind of like Cena. They kind of got Cena heat because a lot of people just did not like watching him wrestle. But as far as his look, though, he was a light-skinned black dude. He was in very, very good shape, very athletic. He was actually a personal trainer. Actually, he was a personal trainer while he was wrestling in Ring of Honor. So he, pretty much did both jobs at the same time. And I mean, he could bust out a 450 splash. He was very he could do a lot of cool things in the ring, but his execution was very, very sloppy from time to time. He had some great matches with Paul London, and he kind of sucked on the mic. His catchphrase was "I'm Xavier, I'm the all-around best," which really wasn't true because he wasn't a great all-around performer at all, in my opinion. He was actually part of Christopher Daniels' The Prophecy. Christopher Daniels actually recruited him, and he became the Ring of Honor World Champion. He wasn't even the leader of The Prophecy while he was the champion. I would say Daniels was still the leader of the company, or the leader of the stable, but Xavier still had the championship. But eventually Xavier lost the title to Samoa Joe. I don't know, his title reign was not spectacular. He didn't really lose the title in a great match to Joe. Joe had to pretty much take the title, and he's the one that really picked up the pieces and kind of molded it and made it into what it is today. So yeah, that was Xavier. His title reign still deserves importance because he was the first one to ever really carry the belt. So you still got to give him a lot of credit. Number 8, I'm going to go with Loki, Kaval. He just won Season 2 of NXT, as most of you guys know. But in 2002, he was pretty much, the poster boy for Ring of Honor. When you would buy a Ring of Honor DVD from 2002, Loki was pretty much in the middle of the cover. So Yeah, and he had a great year in 2002. Stole the show in the first 6 shows. He had the best match in every single show for the first 6 Ring of Honor shows, without a doubt. He's a phenomenal performer. He actually won the belt at a show called Crowning of a Champion. It was a 60-minute 4-way Ironman match. Whoever got the most falls in 60 minutes would win the match, and that was Loki. He was in tears after he won the belt. He dedicated the match to Charlie Haas's brother, Russ Haas. So yeah, but Loki's title reign did not last that long. I believe he sustained an ankle injury, so he only defended the belt against AJ Styles, and then he actually lost it to Xavier the next month when the Prophecy kind of beat the crap out of him and turned on him. And well, not really turned on him, but just annihilated him, and just pretty much left him for dead. So yeah, Loki's title reign was short, but he deserves a lot of credit for being the first Ring of Honor World Champion. And 2002 was their first year, and Loki was probably the MVP of 2002. So that's why I put Loki that high, number 8. Number 7, I'm going to go with Tyler Black. Tyler Black was the most recent Ring of Honor champion, and he recently just dropped the belt to Roderick Strong at World of Honor. But Tyler Black actually won the belt in 2008 at the 2010. At the 8th anniversary show. It was a long time coming for Tyler Black, but he had a good title reign. He put on some great matches. The match against Austin Aries was phenomenal. He was pretty much the guy that led the company into the internet pay-per-view era. He pretty much main evented every single internet pay-per-view and put on a great match every single time. And there's not really much else to say. I mean, a lot of the fans turned on. He's pretty much been like the John Cena of Ring of Honor, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. He's pretty much been the MVP and pretty much the face of the company over the last year. I mean, you go to ROHWrestling.com in the summer of 2010, there's pretty much a good chance you would see Tyler Black's face. So that was Tyler Black, and he is great in the ring, though. Don't get me wrong. He's a phenomenal wrestler, and now he's with the WWE now. He's probably going to be in season 4 or 5 of NXT eventually, so look out for Tyler Black. Number 6, I'm going to go with CM Punk. Punk had a great series of matches with Joe, as most of you guys know. Never won the title until the summer of 2005. He was actually in a match against Austin Aries for the Ring of Honor World title. This was supposed to be his last match, and if he did not, basically he was going to leave and go to WWE no matter what. Even if he won the belt or lost the match, he would still go. But when he did win the belt, actually, he won the match against Aries. Then he kind of swerved the fans. This was a major, shocking booking thing. Everyone needs to check this out. I guarantee you'll be very, very entertained by this match and the aftermath. Punk just cut this amazing promo. It was an anti-Ring of Honor promo, and basically said he was going to take the Ring of Honor World title, head to the WWE, and take the belt and keep it without dropping it to anybody. And that started the Summer of Punk, and the Summer of Punk was just awesome. Eventually, CM Punk actually signed his WWE contract on the Ring of Honor World title. He was just an awesome heel. The work that Punk did as a heel while he was the champion in 2005, it's right up there with anybody in the history of the business, in my opinion. And it was a short world title reign, but the impact that reign had was just phenomenal. Unbelievable. That Summer of Punk was awesome, in my opinion. Number 5, I'm going to go with Takeshi Morishima. Morishima is actually from Pro Wrestling Noah. He's a big Japanese guy. Really heavy, but at the same time, this guy can move like a cat, especially in 2007. This guy was just amazing. Even people that were kind of like hesitant to get behind him at first, eventually everyone was sold on Morishima. This guy was just awesome. Like I said, he can move like a cat. He had some great matches with Nigel, Bryan Danielson. Him and Danielson just had an epic feud, an epic war. Even guys that really didn't seem like they had a chance of winning the belt against Morishima, he, like Brent Albright and Claudio Castagnoli, he would even, make those guys look great. And every time anyone was in the ring with this guy, I mean, he just put on a show. I mean, it created that big championship atmosphere every single time. Morishima had an 8-month world title reign in 2007. He was pretty much he deserves a lot of credit, because when Ring of Honor got on pay-per-view, this was the guy that was the champion. The shows would end with the lasting impression would be of Takeshi Morishima, swinging the Ring of Honor World title in the air. So, and his title reign was actually 8 months long, and he eventually lost it to Nigel McGuinness at the Undeniable pay-per-view, which was taped in October of 2008. So that was Takeshi Morishima, number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with Austin Aries. Austin Aries is the one that well, let me say this first. He was actually part of a stable called Generation Next. He was not even the leader of that stable. He was pretty much this hot up-and-comer, hot young, very, very athletic. And, you know, he was just in the right place at the right time. And he got a title shot against Samoa Joe. Took it to Samoa Joe. Was actually the guy out of anyone over 21 months, finally, the guy to defeat Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor World Championship, which might have arguably been the greatest moment in Ring of Honor history. And, you know, he just had a great world title reign. I mean, he wasn't really as flashy on the mic in 2005 when he did carry the belt. He pretty much was just mainly a wrestler, just basically a guy that would just bust his ass, defend the belt overseas, defend it in Mexico, and just try to bring as much prestige to the Ring of Honor World title that Samoa Joe did. Eventually, Austin Aries would lose the belt to CM Punk in the summer of 2005. But you know, the reason why Aries is so high is because he's the first ever two-time Ring of Honor World Champion and the only two-time Ring of Honor World Champion. And Austin Aries eventually found himself champion again. He actually defeated Jerry Lynn and Tyler Black in the triple threat match at Manhattan Mayhem 3 in 2009. So he was the second. That was the second world title reign, and this time he was more of a heel, or he was officially a heel. Very, very charismatic, very funny, a totally different reign than his first reign. And I think it says a lot that someone could play two different characters in two different title reigns and have two totally types of different matches. You know, you look at Aries' matches in 2005 and compare it to 2009. 2009 was much more storytelling, a little bit more methodical, but in 2005 was much more kind of like a Japanese style, you know, all up in your face, explosive type of matches. So that was Austin Aries at number 4. At number 3, I'm going to go with Nigel McGuinness. Nigel McGuinness, he deserves a lot of credit. You know, he was one of the guys, you know, he won his Ring of Honor World Championship in the middle of the pay-per-view era, the G-Funk pay-per-view era from 2007, 2008, during that time. And he was just a great heel champion. You know, the problem with Nigel's title reign at the beginning was when he beat Morishima, a lot of people didn't think it was that believable because he had already lost Morishima 2 times already. Then he had gotten hurt. And then he kind of came off like a crybaby because he missed 2 New York City shows in a row, or 2 New York City shows out of 3. And some of the fans started turning on him. His title reign got off to a really, really bad start. But as the title reign progressed, he got stronger. The matches got better. He just became more and more heelish. The longer the title reign went on, the more you started to think, this guy's never going to lose the belt. So, yeah, Nigel deserves a lot of credit. His title reign lasted about 18 months and went from October of 2007 all the way until March of 2009. So that was Nigel McGuinness. Number 2, I'm going to go with Samoa Joe. Wow, Samoa Joe deserves a lot of credit. I had a really, really tough time deciding who to put at number 1, but Samoa Joe made the Ring of Honor World title what it was. When Xavier dropped the belt to Joe, it was just a piece of tin. It was just a piece of shit, to tell you the truth. But Joe really took the belt and made it mean something. You know, you know, 2003 was mostly like semi-squash matches just to make Joe look strong. But then, you know, I think CM Punk deserves a lot of credit as well because him and Joe really made those matches memorable, and they also made the belt memorable. Made the belt seem important, what I'm trying to say. And, you know, those matches with CM Punk were just phenomenal. And Joe was really a monster. I mean, for 21 months, this guy really made the Ring of Honor World Championship what it is. So, yeah, so that's all I could say. Samoa Joe, I mean, if it was not for Samoa Joe and CM Punk, there would probably be no Ring of Honor right now. So, there we go. So, number 1, though, I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson. Now, you know, in my opinion, Bryan Danielson's Ring of Honor World title reign, you know, looking back on everything now, I would say this. I would say that Danielson's title reign is what took Ring of Honor from a local indie promotion to not really exactly a mainstream promotion, but, you know, he put the name out there. You know, Ring of Honor is more out there now, and I think a lot of it had to do with Bryan Danielson. You know, when you think of Ring of Honor, and when you look at the whole history of the company, and you would say, all right, if you want to pick one guy out of the whole history of the promotion to be your champion, I mean, there's really no other guy's name that would come to mind except Bryan Danielson. I mean, the guy he had a 15-month title reign, but every single time this guy had a phenomenal match. No matter if he was injured or whatever the situation may be, he always busted his ass, went 60 minutes if it had to, no matter who he was in the ring with, always put on a great match. And defended the belt night after night after night. You know, the volume of title defenses and quality was a lot higher than the Joe title reign, in my opinion. So I think you still got to give it to Bryan Danielson. Just a phenomenal world title reign.